what if, and stick with me here, what if the lights we see out there aren't just ships, but messages? Like echoes of something bigger, something sacred, like a call from across the universe.
Wow. It really makes you think, doesn't it? When we picture UFOs, we tend to picture cold, metallic objects, advanced technology, that sort of thing. But what if it's something much deeper?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're going to look at today in this deep dive. UFOs, science, and the human soul. And we've got reports, we've got research, some pretty mind-bending theories, honestly.
Lots to unpack. And I think at the heart of it all is this question. Are UFOs just unidentified flying objects, or are they something else entirely? Portals to an awakening, maybe? An awakening that science just can't explain yet.
Right. Let's bring in the human element here. I mean, we have accounts from people who've encountered these things, like Jake Barber, ex-military. He was tasked with retrieving a crashed UFO. And his reaction, it wasn't about the nuts and bolts, He wept. Described the whole thing as deeply spiritual.
And Barber's story isn't unique. A lot of people who report contact with UFOs, or even abductions, they describe similar transformations, the sense of expanded consciousness, visions of a connected cosmos, even telepathic communication.
So are these encounters kind of shattering people's old worldviews, making them see the bigger picture?
That's what John Mack thought. He was a psychiatrist at Harvard, studied abductees for years, and he came to view these events, these encounters, as catalysts. Like catalysts for a spiritual awakening.
Okay, now that's a pretty big idea. But how do we reconcile that with the physical reality of UFOs? I mean, are we suggesting they're advanced technology aimed at something more?
Well, it's a real head scratcher. But think about it this way. You've got Rupert Sheldrake and his concept of the extended mind. The idea that our minds might not be limited to our brains. What if consciousness can exist outside the physical body? In forms we don't quite understand yet.
So we're talking UFOs as potentially conscious entities, not just machines.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility, right? Think about the case of Betty Andreasson. She claimed to have communicated with beings during her abduction, and she described this connection as direct, like heart to heart. She received messages about unity, the interconnectedness of everything, and this plea to care for the earth.
That reminds me of, the Hopi stories about the star people descending in these shining discs to teach humanity about balance and harmony.
Exactly. And the Hopi, they don't view these star people as invaders or anything. It's more like wise beings from a higher plane of existence, coming to offer guidance. And it aligns with this idea that UFOs might not be traveling through space as we understand it. Like maybe they're emerging from other dimensions beyond our perception.
Right, like Michio Kaku, he's a theoretical physicist. And he talks about these hidden dimensions that we can't perceive. So could UFOs be using those dimensions to, interact with us?
It's possible. And if you think about Sheldrake's concept of a cosmic web of consciousness, where minds are interconnected over vast distances, it raises this question. Could UFOs be part of that network, like conduits for some higher intelligence?
That's mind-blowing, honestly. But if that's true, what's the message? What are they trying to tell us?
Well, Daniel Sheehan, he's from the New Paradigm Institute, he suggests that what governments really fear, it isn't just the advanced technology, it's the implications, like the idea of a connection to a greater whole, because that challenges everything we think we know about reality. It puts us in something much vaster than we ever imagined.
Like that woman, Barbara, who talked about touching a UFO and how it made her mind expand, like seeing the universe from a completely different perspective. It sounds like something beyond language, beyond rational thought.
Yeah, it's powerful. And it resonates with the core of a lot of spiritual traditions, like dissolving the ego in Buddhism, for example, or flowing with the Tao in Taoism. It's almost as if these encounters are invitations to let go of our limited perspectives and embrace a broader, more interconnected view of reality.
So we're talking about a shift in consciousness, not just a technological leap forward. But how do we reconcile the physical evidence of UFOs, radar data, pilot testimonies with these spiritual interpretations? Could they be both scientific anomalies, ADB carriers of a deeper message?
That's where things get really interesting. Science might explain the how, the propulsion systems, the physics of their movement, all that. But maybe it's the spiritual lens that helps us understand the why. What's the purpose? What are they trying to convey? Well, there's this Italian physicist, Massimo Teodrani, and he studied these mysterious lights in Hessdalen, Norway. They were orbs, and they were doing some pretty weird stuff, like reacting to lasers and even to people being around.
Conscious energy, not just like lights in the sky. Right? That's wild. It does make you think of Sheldrake's idea, the extended mind. If consciousness isn't just in our bodies, could it be in these orbs, in UFOs? Maybe that's how they interact with our world in these ways that we can't explain.
It's definitely a theory, but it's got some legs.
Yeah.
There's this thing called integrated information theory. It was developed by Giulio Tononi, and it basically says that consciousness could, arise in any system that's complex enough. So not just in living things, as we normally think of them.
So a UFO, with all its, potential for connection and advanced tech, it could have a type of consciousness that we just see as otherworldly, even divine.
Hold on, divine. Are we saying UFOs are gods?
Not gods, I guess. Not in the traditional sense. But expressions of a universal consciousness, a kind of intelligence that's just woven into reality. I mean, a lot of mystical and spiritual traditions have talked about this for a long time. And maybe, just maybe, science is starting to catch up. So science and spirituality, they're kind of meeting in the middle. One's all about evidence, the other explores the unseen. Are UFOs the bridge between them?
They could be. What if, by studying these objects, we're actually, deciphering a language of consciousness, like a code that unlocks the interconnectedness of everything?
Okay, but let's be real for a sec. If these UFOs are representing, higher intelligence, cosmic consciousness, what are they trying to tell us?
Well, look at the common threads and what people say about their experiences, about abductions and stuff. There are these messages of peace, unity, care for the earth. It's almost like a plea, right, from a higher consciousness. They're saying, hey, humanity, you got to evolve. You got to get past all this division and self-destruction.
It's true. You see those same themes in ancient prophecies, wisdom traditions. The Hopi, they talk about the star people returning in times of crisis to guide us to a better way of being.
Yeah. And Daniel Sheehan's view that extraterrestrial contact is the spiritual invitation, it supports that. He thinks we're being called to rise above our egos and embrace a more connected way of life. Recognize that everything's united, really.
Step outside ourselves.
Yeah.
See the bigger picture. It's like that story from Betty Andreasson. She said that during her abduction, she saw the universe as a living web. She was showing how everything is connected.
Such a strong image. And it reflects what so many spiritual practices teach, Dissolving the ego, going with the flow, recognizing that we're all connected, that our actions ripple out and affect the whole cosmos.
So those twinkling lights up there, maybe they're not just distant stars. Maybe they're reflections of what we could be, the vastness inside us, that connection to everything, to every living thing and to the universe itself.
And maybe the UFO phenomenon, it's like this cosmic nudge telling us to evolve, to grow beyond our limits, to be more compassionate.
Okay, but here's the big question. If these beings are so advanced, if they care about us, why all the secrecy? Why not just land on the White House lawn and lay it all out?
Some people believe that they're waiting for us to evolve, to reach a certain level of consciousness before we can have real contact. Others think it's because of our fear, our tendency to fight. They say it's too risky for them to just, come out in the open.
So are we being tested? Or are they protecting themselves from us? Kind of creepy if you think about it.
It's definitely complex, no easy answers there. But no matter the reason, the phenomenon is real, right? We've got all these reports, people we trust, radar data. Even governments are acknowledging UAPs now. Something's happening.
And it's making us question, everything. Our reality.
Yeah.
Where we fit in the universe. Even what consciousness is. Maybe that's the whole point, Maybe this mystery is pushing us to evolve. To grow up, become more than we are now.
Yeah. It makes you humble. We tend to think we're at the top, the most intelligent, masters of our world. What if we're just scratching the surface? What if there are levels of awareness, of being, that we can't even grasp?
Exciting and scary at the same time. We're realizing we're not the top dogs. That there might be something so much greater than us.
And maybe that's the invitation hidden in the UFO phenomenon, to open our minds, to question everything, to accept that we might be part of something much, much bigger than we ever thought.
So next time you're looking up at the night sky, don't just see those lights. See the mystery, see the potential for growth, see the understanding that's waiting for us, inside each of us.
The answers might not be out there in space. They might be within us, in our own consciousness.
Like we're being asked to explore not space, but ourselves. Look at our beliefs, our limits, maybe even what it means to be human.
Exactly. And the tools for that. They aren't telescopes or spaceships. It's about looking inward, intuition, embracing what we don't know.
It's funny, we started talking about nuts and bolts UFOs. Now it's all consciousness expansion. That's a pretty big jump.
I think it's natural, though. The deeper you go with this, the more you see it's not just what's out there, it's how we're processing it, right? In here.
Like those blurry UFO photos. Could be anything, really. Weather balloon, who knows? But it's how people react, the stories they tell. That's the real mystery.
Yeah. Our minds are wired to look for patterns, right? Make sense of things. So when we see something we just can't explain, we try to make it fit what we already know. But sometimes it just doesn't fit.
And that can be scary. We like our neat categories, explanations. What if UFOs are forcing us to admit, hey, we don't know everything?
It is humbling, but also kind of freeing, letting go of needing to know it all, accepting that some mysteries just stay mysteries.
It's like looking at the night sky. It's huge. We're tiny.
Yeah.
So much we don't get. But instead of feeling small, maybe it's about awe. Wonder
is huge. It's what makes us curious. It drives us to explore, to learn, to become more. Isn't that what this is all about? UFAs, I mean. Expanding our minds, seeing new possibilities, connecting to something bigger.
It's so different from, like, the normal science approach.
Yeah.
Taking things apart, controlling them. What if understanding UFOs needs different tools? Intuition, empathy, maybe even spirituality.
It is a shift, and lots of people are already there. More and more folks are realizing that science is great, but it's not the only way to find truth.
Ancient cultures knew this. They saw how everything's linked, the spiritual side of things. Maybe we lost that chasing technology and, stuff.
UFOs, they could be a reminder, a wake-up call to get back to our intuition, that sense of wonder. Remember our place in the web of life.
That's beautiful. And it gives us a new way to look this whole thing, right? Not with fear or doubt, but with curiosity, being open, a little humility.
That's it, yeah. Approach the unknown, ready to learn, to grow. Who knows what we might find when we step outside our little boxes.
So you see a weird light in the sky. Don't just say, oh, it's nothing. Ask yourself, what if? What if it changes how I see reality? Makes me think bigger, connect to the mystery of it all.
Because in the end, this isn't just about UFOs, it's about all of us. Our journeys, figuring ourselves out, reaching our potential, finding our place in this vast universe. And hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the quantum soul, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. It really helps us out. And remember, there are 2 more videos on your screen to continue your journey, so click on one and keep exploring.